Hi guys, it's Andy from mcfcfantv. How is everybody today? Welcome to another sort of live vlog where we'll have a chat about all things, what's going on, and even though there's not much out there, if I'm being honest with you. So let's see who is on. Well, Sempalima's on because he sent me a message a minute ago. How are you, mate? Rob's here. Good. I was waiting. Oh, sorry. I saw you come on just as a press, send. So Rob from the podcast is coming on today. He's going to have a chat with you for those who are on and maybe ask you some questions as well. So look out for Rob's comments below this particular live vlog. So Liban, Ahmed, how are you? You all right, mate? Rick Davis, hey buddy, how are you? Robert Lang's on. Hello, buddy. Jay Fresh Stunner, what's good, Andy? Loads of things. Loads of things are great at the moment. EF Productions. Oh, Andy, how are you, mate? Kiam's on. Hi, Andy. Hope your trip's going well, mate. It is. I'm done. I'm finished. I've just got back to the hotel. So, yeah, it's one of those. I'm just ready for my flight back tomorrow. So I can't wait. Like I said, Rob's on. Sorry, I was trying to get updates on my phone. So Rob's on. So Rob's here. Saying hello to everybody. Daniel Neerman, hi Andy, how are you? I'm very good, mate. How are you? Gustavo Cortez, any news on Angelino? Nothing is confirmed yet, mate, but it does look like it's going to happen. Mentioned that last night. Said soon as we know anything for certain, we'll let you know. But it's looking like he's definitely coming. What's going to happen with him when he comes is still up for debate. Here driving and watching. Do you drive carefully? Yeah. Whatever you're doing, if you're driving. Why don't you get the lovely Rabin on the podcast? Stop it. Rick Davis, I'm great, pal. Good. Pleased to know. Fantaranjan official. Hi guys. I know it is. It's Fantaranjan from Fantaranjan official. Connor Nixon. Yes, Andy. Do you think Sane will go? Well, that's one of the things we're going to discuss shortly. I still think it's up in the air, but some comments that have been made today suggest that maybe some other people know certainly more than we know. So I'm Sal, mate. Thanks. Just having a brew. Good for you. Patina, can't wait for another short 1 hour live. It's not going to be an hour today. That I do promise. I've got some things that I need to just quickly. Emails I've got to send to wrap up the course and everything else, so it will not be. It won't be an hour today. That I definitely promise. All right, Rob, lads. Yes, everybody, if you're only just tuning in, Rob from Man City Fan TV, the guy who is in charge of all the podcasts and things. If you've listened to the podcast, if you haven't, you need to go and listen to it. He's here, so if you want a chat with him and things like that, then. Please feel free to ask him any questions. He might ask you some questions on here, so look out for Rob commenting below. Missed that one. What was that? Rumours from the Daily Star that Harry Maguire is having a medical next week. Really? We'll see. I mean, maybe, but depends who it is from the Daily Star. Was it Jeremy Cross or was it somebody else? Hi, Chris Linley. I'm good, mate. How are you? I'm glad that this week's nearly at an end. Robert Blondie, hey, Andy. Hi, Rob. Really like the podcast, mate. Can't wait for the next one. And well done, mate. Yeah. Rob, you went no holds bar in that podcast. Loved it, mate. Class from you and Andy. Thank you very much for that, EF. I really appreciate it. Rob's made a comment. He's saying, hi, everybody. Swearing filter is on my typing right now. Good. So don't worry. Hey Andy, have we signed? You've got to get used to it. City fans all over the world, Rob, they want to know. They're just, it's that time of year, crazy transfer season, and people, we as old school Blues sort of like, we'll wait and see, and we'll wait for it to be announced and things, but it just creates a lot of tension and anticipation. So you will get inundated with, have we signed so and so yet, and things like that. Trust me, when we sign them, the video will be up and you'll know for sure. And who knows, by the time we do a video, you may already have read it on some of the sports media. Where are we up to here? Hi, Makund, how are you? Liban Ahmed. Hey, Andy, is it true you had a feud with Sam Lee? I wouldn't call it a feud, no. Bit of a strange question. Sam Lee. What happened? Feud with Sam Lee? No, I didn't have a feud with Sam Lee. I blocked Sam Lee on Twitter because it all started when, obviously, Ray had been giving Stephen loads of grief. Now, if you don't know, Sam Lee is pretty good friends with Stephen from Esteemed Company. So, of course, Sam Lee is going to stick up for Stephen in the whole thing that happened in January, and then it continued into February, etc. like that. So, of course, like I said at the time, I was sticking up for Ray and sticking up for the channel, and he came back and started having a bit of a dig at me and things like that. So I went back to him and he came back at me, and in the end I just thought, with all of these people who have a blue tick and everything else, they have a big following, a huge following. So it was I could envisage it was gonna go down the route of, if I just keep going, you know, sticking up for Ray, sticking up for the channel, and he was going to stick up for Stephen, and then he's going to just end up with all of his followers and Stephen's followers and everything else just all having a go at me again, and I just thought, I'm not even bothering. So I blocked Sam Lee. He didn't block me, I blocked him, only because it was nothing to do with anything between me and Sam Lee. It was just solely so that it just didn't become toxic again. That's the only reason. But I wouldn't say a feud. What is if you have a bit of banter and a bit of a discussion and a bit of disagreement, is that now a feud? I mean, it certainly wasn't a feud. That's for certain. It's on Twitter. You can go back and look at it. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. Rob, the podcast legend. Great to have you on here, mate. What have we got? Who else? Sorry, I'm just trying to read through everybody. Missing a few there. Andy, the 2008 yeah, me, the 2008 fan. Yeah, that's right. I only ever started following City since Sheikh Mansour joined. That's absolutely, I promise you, that's definitely the truth. Not. Hi Andy, how are you, mate? Just joined in. What have we talked about? Nothing really. We've only been on a few minutes. People are tuning in and saying hello. And Rob, who runs the podcast, and I'm sorry for the people who've been on for the last few minutes. People join and want to know what's happened and what they missed, and we have to recap and things. Rob from the podcast, who runs the podcast, he's on. He's commenting below the video, the live vlog. So if you've got any questions for Rob, ask him, because he's on here now. So you may be something about the podcast that you wanted to query, or podcast that you really liked and a certain part of it, or something you didn't like. Now's the time, because Rob is here. So grab him while you can. Hello Andy, any new signing? You'll have to get used to Blue Heart, Rob. He's the joker of the pack. Very funny guy. Good, Chris Lindley, I'm glad you're well, mate. Yeah, I'd love to see Rodri. I still think Rodri is definitely happening, and obviously we know now with the fact that Llorente is leaving Madrid and going to Atletico Madrid. So Real Madrid to Atletico Madrid, which is clearly paving the way for Rodri to come now. And I think all this potentially, and people say, why is it not happening, and why is it this, and why hasn't it been done yet, and all the signs are he wants to sign, and all. We don't know, and we keep saying to you, we don't know. Is the hold-ups because they're on holiday? Is the hold-ups because of contractual reasons? It may be the hold-up is simply for the reason that they wanted to make sure they got the Llorente deal over the line before they were happy to actually release Rodri to Man City. So with that happening now, hopefully in the next few days, we'll be able to get the Rodri deal over the line, done and dusted, and hopefully it'll be our sort of first big signing, maybe. I'd like to see Rodri, I agree. Yeah. I think Harry Maguire will do okay. I think he'll surprise for you. Every team needs a meathead. Well, we've lost one, haven't we? With Vinny, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not that I think Maguire's a crap player. I don't know, maybe he might turn out to be a superb signing. I mean, at the end of the day, like we've always said, you've got to trust in Pep, and cheeky and everything else. And, you know, if they think he will fit in the system and he will certainly develop under Pep, and he's English, it's just the price. It's just, I can't see City paying that much money for him. So whether we throw somebody into the mix, maybe, you know, whether we, I don't know, a Delph or somebody else back to Leicester in the deal, I can't see us paying 90 million quid for him. I really can't. Are we signing VAR as well? Well, I just put that up there only because while I was just typing away to put the titles up, something came across the bottom of the screen, and it was an announcement that VAR, we know VAR is going to be introduced in the Premier League next season, but the actual goalkeeper VAR with 1 foot on the line and all that, that's not apparently going to be brought into the Premier League by all accounts. Now, if you already know that, I apologise. It's just, like I said, I've only just got back to the hotel room, and it just came up on one of the ticker banners at the bottom. So, yeah, so it's interesting that, again, we're introducing more technology, but there's a slight twist again next season with VAR because they're not going to implement the full thing, you know, the full complement of rules and regulations. Hi, Andy, how are you? I'm good, Dragon Meat. Martin Horsfield, how are you, mate? I'm very well, pal. Hope you're okay. Rob saying, make sure that if you and your friends wish to feature on the podcast at some point in the future, contact the channel. Yeah, you must make sure you send us an email, mcfcfantv@gmail.com. And Rob, I had a Skype chat with somebody last night, and I think it'd be good to come on the podcast if you're willing to give him a go. Big Blue, been following City for nearly 40 years, and has his own thoughts and ideas and opinions on players and everything else. And you know, we did a face-to-face chat last night, so I'll talk to you next week about that. Rob, our new signing is our new CFS cat. I swear, must be killing him. It probably is killing him. Twatter. I know, obviously you're referring to what I was talking about before. Leroy's mum is going to buy and not Leroy, you reckon? Well, if we, well, let's go back one then. If you want to, people are talking about Leroy. Andy, good to be able to watch live. Hope you're all good. I'm very well, mate. I'm really, really good. Hi, Andy. How are you, mate? Any update on transfers? Only sort of bits and pieces, but nothing really major. You know, we've hit that sort of 48-hour lull where everything was, it's going to be in the next day, it's going to be here, and now all of a sudden it's all still a little bit up in the air. But I'm sure it'll happen certainly very, very shortly. Hi, Bernard Deneen, how are you? So Blondie, Tony Butterworth really made me laugh. He was so relaxed, and some of his comments about us adopting the same wall as Spurs' new stadium cracked me up. I don't know, Rob, do you want to reply back about Tony Butterworth and what he's like? You clearly know him very, very well. Blew out to play left wing. Rob Dictionary only has 4-letter words in it. Just like us, really. A lot on Maguire joining for 65 million. Wow, that's a bit of a come down from 95 million, which was quoted a few days ago. So I think I said on the video I did last week, I said, if we got him in the region of 50-60 million, then I'd be perfectly happy having an English centre-back coming in who's still sort of around about the 25, 26 years of age mark. I think that'd be a pretty decent deal. But you start hitting 95 million quid, you know, it depends on his wages and salary as well, because, you know, we've got to be careful with upsetting the dynamic of the wage structure, even though I don't think he'd be anywhere near the Kevin De Bruyne mark and Sergio for certain. But I would say that's a more realistic, because let's face it, Van Dijk went for what, 75 million quid or so. Is Maguire better than Van Dijk? I don't think he is, if I'm being really brutally honest. So should it be worth the same? No, probably not. Ooh, it looks like we're getting thunderstorms here now. So after 3 days of boiling hot weather, it's gone very humid. I saw her in nets. What else? Rob Beard, I'd like to see Foden having more game time next year, future England captain. We discussed that yesterday on the vlog that we did. We were talking, I was asking the question of Blues, and I don't know whether Rob saw the video, the live vlog yesterday, or what his thoughts are, but I was just asking and playing devil's advocate as to Foden. Should he get more game time? Should he go on loan? Because there was a load of chatter about him yesterday from journalists, pundits saying he should really go on loan because where's he going to get game time? And I know lots on here were turning around saying, he should be playing, he should get games. And I was saying, who's he going to play? Whose place is he going to take? And how many games do you realistically think Foden will play next season? And there was something very interesting chatter yesterday. So thanks for all that input that you did yesterday. Kiam says, we have so much skill, I think we need a knucklehead in there to toughen us up, quite possibly, because let's face it, we've lost the one big, real physical, can get stuck in, can be dirty in Vinny Company. We've lost that now, which when you look at, and this is the first point of call today, is the fact that we all know that Vinny has gone to Anderlecht, and the fact that he wants to take everything that he's basically learned at Man City and bring in the academy head coach Simon Davis with him. And now the announcement is that Craig Bellamy will also help in the process and be the under-21 manager at Anderlecht, which is an interesting choice. Clearly, you've got to wonder how that's come about. Let me just close that door a bit. Sorry. I was getting rain coming in there. You've got to think, how's the Bellamy one come about? Now, if you see Bellamy on the debate and things like that, he talks really well. I think he's done all his badges. He's done quite a bit of coaching. So it looks like Bellamy is going to be his under-21 manager, and he's going to take the likes of Simon Davis with him. So you've got to say, well done to Vinny. You've got to hope that it all works for him, and he's an intelligent guy, and I think he'll do a wonderful job at certainly at Anderlecht. But one of the other talking points with the Anderlecht move is it looks like Vinny Company has targeted Matt Smith. Now, if you know about Matt Smith, the Welsh international, he was on a season-long loan at FC20. And apparently very, very impressive loan move it was as well. He's now part of the senior Welsh set up the squad, doing really, really well. So there's talk of possibly one of Vinny's first signings. Let me just bring my screen back up. One of Vinny's first potential academy players or players around that, the youth and EDS and everything else he's going to take is potentially Matt Smith. So I think that will be perfect because he is very, very highly rated, Matt Smith, very highly rated. He is very much in, the likes of how Tommy Doyle is viewed by Manchester City. So I think for his progression now, he's had a year in the Dutch league. Is the potential of going to Anderlecht with Vinny, somebody who he knows. He's already in and around the first team, Welsh team squad. So it could be a really exciting year for a very impressive and exciting young talent to develop under Vinny. Plus, you clearly know there'll be conversations going back and forth between Vinny and Pep and the team and everybody else, Mikel Arteta, and regular reports and things like that. So it'll be really interesting to see who and how many of these impressive young starlets at Man City actually go not only to the likes of Breda and everybody else, but how many Vinny takes, and in particular, who does Vinny take? Now, it might be just solely around where he thinks potentially that the team Anderlecht needs strengthening, but it could also be the ones that he wants to identify, saying to Pep, look, we can give him some serious game time, so let him come to us, and I promise you, we'll give him game time. So we're going to keep a really close eye in the coming weeks to see who out of the academy team actually Vinny targets. Now, we know that a lot of them will end up going to, like I said, maybe Girona and Breda and all the others, but it'd be interesting to see if Vinny does take several, 3, 4 of the kids and really promises game time to two or three of them. So it'd be really interesting, but I think that would be a perfect move for Matt Smith. I think it'd be a brilliant move for him. Apparently we're selling Mangal to Leicester for 65 million. Hey, wouldn't that just be a dream? Hey, I don't know, I'd just give him away. Just give him, pay Maguire, 65 million, Leicester 65 million, and just give him and say, look, it's just a freebie, we'll throw him in, take him off our hands. Mingy Wong, how's Germany so far? Yes, it's been very good, thank you very much. I've been here at an not old, about 10 years ago they left, but an American airbase, do some training out here. So it's been very, very warm, really warm. But today it's gone very overcast, humid, and we're about to get a load of storms, I think, coming in. I've got 2 left feet. McCunn can't even assist. I feel like Maguire, and think he would suit us. Maybe just me. Quite possibly. I don't know. What does everybody else think? I mean, people on here, I think Kiam's made a comment saying that he thinks it would be a good signing. So what does everybody else think about Maguire? Is it something you're looking forward to? Is it somebody you think will definitely improve City? Or would you rather have somebody else? I know Farzan's just turned around and said, I'd much rather have Delete than Maguire. I'll be honest with you, I think the majority possibly would agree with you, and especially at the money that's being proposed, 60 to 70 million euro, you'd suggest that at 19 years of age under the development of Pep. Don't know what that's just come through there. The Newcastle takeover rumours have suddenly just died. They have, but I think if you listen to some of the real people who were speaking about that, they predicted that it probably would die down. They didn't really think there was going to be anything in that, because of previous dealings with this particular guy. So, Rob Beard says Slabhead for 60 million. I'd go with it. Hi Sharon Hall, how are you? Glad to have you on Man City Fan TV. I know this isn't City related, but have you seen the Lingard video? Oh my God. Has everyone seen? I'm assuming everyone's seen it. How embarrassing is that kid? Well, he's 26, is he? Or 20, nearly 27. It's frightening. It's absolutely frightening. Can you imagine? I mean, he clearly thinks he can get away with that type of stuff under Ole Gunnar. And can you imagine if that was a City player? One, what Pep, Mikel Arteta, Cheeky, Varane, Khaldoon, what they would think of that. And 2, what the consequences of that would be. But on the flip side of it, clearly he just, I don't know. It baffles me. Jesse Lingard baffles me. And I heard early this morning, I got up early and I'm obviously a time ahead here. And I just switched on TalkSport and heard some United fans talking about it. And they were absolutely embarrassed and mortified by his behaviour and frightening. Absolutely frightening. Yeah, he's an absolute knobhead. Anyway, 4th Gen of Papa, any news on Rodri? Nothing. I just spoke earlier, 4th Gen of Papa, to say that it looks like the Llorente from Real Madrid to Atletico Madrid is all but done, which is possibly opening up now the transfer from Rodri to Man City. I said maybe, I don't know, maybe the delay has been they wanted to make sure they got a replacement before they let Rodri go, and now that Llorente looks like he's going to Atletico, that now should hopefully pave the way for Rodri to move now to Manchester City and get that done fairly quickly. Come to sort of the Sane thing just shortly. Verdal putting in a cap for Felix. Has he not been signed yet? I thought that was already done and dusted according to certain outlets. Rob from Man City Fan TV podcast says, Roberto Blondi, that is exactly what we are aiming to do. I spent time in the Navy and living in the USA. Being away from City is hard, so sharing a voice, our voice is important. Glad you liked it. Good. Vinny is the next Mars movie. Is that Ray trying to get... Stop it, Blue Heart. Hi, Kamal Dwyer. How are you, buddy? Phil Foden is the only place his career will propel him to international stardom. Manchester City Football Club. The journals are just blowing smoke. Stuff them. He's a City, and City will. He's a City. He is City, sorry, and City will utilise him. I think the consensus from yesterday from City fans on here was that they all wanted Foden to be here next season. How many games? I think the people were undecided. Some said that he should be an immediate replacement for David Silva. But what's going to happen to David Silva next season? So, but on the whole, I think every Blue. I don't know any Blues. I know loads of journalists have said it, but I've not heard any Blues saying I think he should go on loan for some development. But that just paused. I'm not sure if it did or it didn't. I do apologise. Like I said, we've got a bit of a storm going over, so if it does pause, I do apologise. I'll continue, but can somebody just let me know if it does pause? Can you let me know, please? Let's see. Maguire doesn't have to be the best centre-back in the world, just needs to defend, do the dirty stuff. Yeah, good point, Kiam, good point. How old is Maguire? 26. Is there any future sell-on value in who? Maguire? Well, I mean, if he stayed for 3-4 years, you'd still get a decent whack out of him at 30, because centre-backs tend to go on by... I thought Andy got struck by lightning when there was... Yeah, it's gone very hot, humid, and you can feel it in the air. It's going to absolutely throw it down. Ashkith, you'll have to go back and watch it because we'll be going shortly, so you'll have to watch it. We've been talking introductions. Rob from Man City Fan TV podcast is on here. Cam Ray's on the roof. Stop it. Abuj Kumar, yes it does. What's that? First podcast was a great beginning. David White was written on the back of my white t-shirt playing footy in the park. Like many kids abroad, City was always global. Thought Andy got struck while I'd said that. Ray's on the roof. Right, I don't know whether I've paused or not. No, I'm still here, hopefully. Sane. Now, there's no news coming out of Manchester City with regards to Sane is gone, Sane is this, Sane is whatever. But some of the rumours that did come out, and I'll just bring it up, is some of the comments made yesterday by Robert Lewandowski, who has basically come out in the media and said that the German players at Bayern are very much looking forward to Leroy Sane moving to Bayern Munich. So make of that what you will. I mean, they are quotes from Robert Lewandowski. So if he's turning around and he's basically talked about, it was in goal, I think it was, Bayern players are now very much looking forward to Sane signing, but we're just having to wait and see what's going on. And he was talking about the departures of the likes of Robin and Ribéry yesterday. But he said it could be a perfect replacement. And so you don't often as a player come out and make statements like that. Now, whether there's any translation issues or not, we don't know. But you don't often come out and say, yeah, all the players are really excited to welcome Leroy Sane shortly, and we're just waiting to see what's going to happen. And you don't normally sort of quote players coming. It's very rare. It is rare. It does happen, but it is rare. So is there really something? Have they been told something? Has Sane said something to some of the German Bayern Munich players? And, you know, what's been said? So I don't know. I'm still not sure what's going to happen with him. I really, really am. I guess it's going to be like he said, we'll wait and see. So how much should we get for him? That's the one of the points. Do we really need, Keith Beebe says, do we really need centre-back when Fernandinho and Garcia could be adequate? I'll be honest with you. Let's face it, Fernandinho's 34. He could cover. But, you know, players come along, and sometimes do you want to go into a season where you've got, we would have Laporte and John Stones as almost certain starters if we didn't sign anybody. Yes, Fernandinho can rotate, but it isn't his natural position. And then we've got a young kid in Garcia that you wouldn't want to throw into the Man City team right now. Let him be developed and brought on bit by bit, and play some of the cup games and things. So sometimes when a player comes on the market, you might look at it and think, he's still got 5, 6 years, 8 years ahead of him. And if we miss out on him now, who else is out there? Now, if they were planning on somebody else or they've got options, maybe they will go down that route and say, we will stick with Stones, we will stick with Laporte, we'll stick with Fernandinho as being able to rotate if we get Rodri and it gets done. And we have got Garcia who potentially can fit in there. Or we could go to a 3 and put Walker in there and etc. etc. So we'll see what happens. I want to ask if you like cricket. Yeah, I do like cricket, mate. Bernardini said, enjoy Raw podcast. Bad language, no problem, as it's used to its City Eye podcast. Andy, you are live. Sane, see podcast. Thank you. Cheers. I won't sell Leroy. I think he has the potential to be the best player in the world. We've said it for a couple of years, haven't we? I think Pep said it, Anthony. Pep said he can be absolutely anything he wants to be. He's just got to apply himself. So is it an attitude problem? Like I said, I did do the video back in August. I mentioned it last night. I was chatting to somebody else and said back in August, after I think 4 or 5 games, I did a video on Sane after the World Cup disappointment, and he didn't start the first few games like he didn't the season before. And I was asking, is there a problem? Is it an attitude thing? And is it, whatever? And he started off when he got into the team pretty well and did really well, but then just tailed off. And Pep made several comments about it and, tried to support him, but also tried to maybe be a bit hard on him. But there's something clearly not right. There's something definitely not right with him. I think Sane should have signed by now. It seems like he's off to me. Yeah, I'm erring towards that. And what worries me more, Kiam, is the fact that I said it a few weeks ago that I think our transfer policy might hinge on what happens to Leroy Sane and how much money we get for him, because that then will change the strategy of who we're looking at. So if Sane does go, should we be going all in for Felix? But if Sane stays, is there any point in going in for Felix? It's one of those, so it can change the strategy of our bloody, transfer window. And the more this is dragging on, the closer we're getting to the end of the, to the pre-season tour. And by then, you want to know who is in and who is out. So I think it's really important that City make a decision one way or the other on Sane and get the money in. Rob Beard says 120 million, take it or leave it. Do you honestly, and this is a question for you, do you honestly think City will get 120 million quid for Leroy Sane? Honestly, maybe they would. Who knows? Do you think Bayern Munich could pay 120 million? There's another question. Why would any player leave City for the Bundesliga? That league is a joke. As far as I'm concerned, his potential will stagnate in a non-competitive league. Good point. But then again, you might think, well, that's the same as Jadon Sancho. Look at Jadon Sancho, and he's developed and moved on and done whatever, albeit at different stages of their career. And Sane's a German international and things like that. But you've got to suggest it. I just honestly don't think it's a footballing reason why he's stalling. I think it's something else. I think it's outside of football, if I'm being honest with you. I just, like you said, why would you want to move back to Germany? Why would you want to leave the best coach in world football, where you're winning trophies, you're on the big stage and things like that? So I can't see it. And is it about money, really? I mean, it could be, but I'm sure City are willing to, give him a great contract and good money. So, why would you possibly want to leave? I don't know. I think it's something external to football, footballing reasons, let's say. Plain spotting Ringway. Hey, how are you, Puddy? Plain spotting Ringway. At the pub, or the plane spotting thing near at the back of the airfield near the romper. Kamal Dwyer, Roger Cancelo, Angelino, and Maguire. That could be the 4 that come in. Sane stories are just clickbait. What's this Riesgo stuff? I mentioned it. Not yesterday. I think it was the day before. And this is the. I mentioned the fact that this guy, this keeper from VAR, could be coming to Man City, a 35-year-old, and he's basically spent his entire career in La Liga. But after I did the video on him on the live vlog, I mentioned about him. I think there was something yesterday maybe that turned around and said no, I don't think it's going to happen. But today, the publication Dario Vasca claims that the player now is only one step away from saying yes and taking an opportunity to fulfilling a dream he's never had and playing under Pep Guardiola. Now, the reason behind that is he was a little bit, apparently he made a comment originally when said it on the video. He was originally touted to be coming to City, obviously as an understudy, nothing more. But I think he was concerned about his family. But it seems, according to this report, even though he's a bit unsure at the beginning, his family now are fully behind it and support the move to England to join Guardiola's team. So they said it was a decision that is weighing heavily on his mind, but it was all to do with his family. But now his family have assured him basically that they are happy with a move to Manchester. If he wants to go, then he can go. This came from Mancisidor, who is the goalkeeping coach at Man City. He's been there in previous regimes, so it's not just under Pep. Yeah, he's been a familiar face. Xavier he's called. He's made the recommendation that we should be going in for this particular keeper, which clearly means that some of the, either Muric, which we've mentioned already and done videos on, is possibly going on loan to the Championship. And what's going to happen with Danny Grimshaw? Is he gonna go on loan as well? Are we keeping Bravo? Are we getting rid of Bravo? And I suggested it's possibly going to be Edison 1, Bravo 2, and somebody else 3. And that was not going to be Muric. It looks like it could be this keeper as a third choice backup, and maybe we send Grimshaw out on loan. So we'll see. It's just interesting that they've come back now after originally saying it didn't look like it was going to happen. They came back and said the hesitation was only solely down to his family, but now he spoke to them. They're more than happy to make the move if so. So it could be, yeah, a good point, Blue Heart. It could well be, but why would the statement say that his family were happy to move to Manchester? Wouldn't suggest we're going to move to Manchester for a week while we sign the contract. And now I'm sorry if I've just seen, I might have just paused again there. That he is actually, his family are actually happy to come to Manchester. So we'll see. Right, obviously we're getting into a bit thunderstorm activity around. No player is as good as any journal or YouTuber says till they have had a season in the Prem. Yeah, agree. I'm up for the podcast, mate, but I'm West Coast Canada these days, so time zone wise it would have to be a time I can make it. Let me know if you need me, pal. Yeah, get Kiam on. That'd be really good. Email Andy and channel and pass our information. Yeah. So it looks like I'm stuttering now as this is starting to come over. So anyway, guys, listen, I'm going to sort of call it a day. I do apologise. Like I said, it's starting to come in. So guys, I'll pick this up and just see if I can. Oh, I don't know whether you want to go that far. How are you? Sorry, I didn't get all the way down to saying hello to you, mate. I hope you're very well. But we've got a bit of thunderstorms coming in here. So, but guys, listen, if you want to be, like I said, if you want to be on the podcast, send me an email, mcfcfantv@gmail.com. We'll get you on. And don't forget, if you've got any ideas below this particular video, which will go live shortly, I haven't bombed the chip yet. This is I've just found out I was gonna little electric car down there that I can use tonight. So, and if you've got any suggestions for the podcast, please post them below this. Jesus, Andy, you wouldn't want me on your podcast. Hey, I've seen pictures of you, mate. You're perfectly fine. Why wouldn't I want you on the podcast? I think do a good job. So anyway, take care.